Fight fans, fight fans, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Frank Fish Eyes Warren, Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk, and Anthony Joshua. Frank Warren strikes again with this last comment that he made about Alexander Usyk. He says, Frank Warren says Joshua's latest performance shows Usyk is no monster. Wow. Frank Warren believes Alexander Usyk has been overrated in the heavyweight division following his former opponent Anthony Joshua's latest fight. AJ recently returned, winning unanimously against Jermaine Franklin, but a certain victory with many positives, but one that pundits and fans are calling tentative and gun-shy. In Joshua's previous two contests, he was beaten by Usyk, who now sits atop of the division as the unified champion. He was recently in talks with Tyson Fury, as we know, and it didn't go the way we thought it would go. And this is what Frank said. He said, what it did for me, it puts it into perspective, Usyk. Now everyone's going crazy about Usyk, and he is a marvelous, marvelous cruiserweight. I look at the fight he had with Derek Chisora, and I look at the two Joshua fights, and I look at this Joshua versus Franklin fight, and it tells me a lot as well. He continued. He said, well, I just don't think that Usyk is a monster that everyone says he is. I really don't. And we'll find that out, especially if he gets this fight on with Daniel Dubois, which we're working on. It'll be interesting because he's going to be near a young guy who can punch, who's a naturally big heavyweight. That's going to be quite an exciting fight, but I think a lot of people got carried away with those wins. I really do. Those are the words of Frank Warren, and let me counterpunch. I remember yesterday I was working out downstairs in the gym, and I seen a comment that somebody made about Joshua having a poor performance against Jermaine Franklin, or a mediocre performance. And they said, well, it doesn't make Usyk look good. No, in fact, it makes him the opposite. It makes him look really good, because Usyk is the explanation of why, or possibly why, Joshua's gun shy. What makes you gun shy in a fight? Dealing with a guy that you can't hit, that can hit you back after every punch that you attempt to throw. Usyk did that to Joshua. Joshua landed shots, sure, but Usyk either returned those shots, and a lot of those shots that Joshua tried to throw, he either missed, and when he missed, most likely about 3 to 4 times out of 5, he got paid back with some punches of his own, back from Usyk. So him saying that, oh, it just shows you that Usyk is not the monster that he's supposed to be. But we'll see. Yeah, we will see. Because when he sparks your boy out and whoops the shit out of your boy, and your boy ain't worth the shit no more, you remember the conversation that you had. See, the first thing about every performance, Usyk now supposed to be the monster, he says. But then when he did fight Chisora, let's talk about that fight for a minute. For one, he said that he was faking a lot of the performances. I don't know how true that is, but have you ever heard Alexander Usyk to lie, really? And the most important part about that, he said he had the same disease that was plaguing the world at the time. What the hell was that? It sure the hell wasn't AIDS. It was COVID. So if he just got over COVID fighting someone like Derek Chisora, that would explain a lot of things that didn't happen. Because he sure as shit looked a lot better when the first Joshua fight than the Derek Chisora fight. And we know that that Ukraine was invaded, or was at war with Russia. Okay, and he was there, and you think he was training? You think he was in training mode? Think he was thinking about fighting or boxing or anything? competing. No, he was trying to survive and seeing what the hell is going on with his neighborhood and things of that nature. My house is gone. They've taken my house and driven tanks and shit all over my backyard and all this, that, and the other. So it's a lot of things you have to take into account before making a judgment that Usyk's no good just because Joshua looks shitty. Now, I do understand if Joshua did spark out Jermaine Franklin, but it wouldn't excuse the performances that Anthony Joshua made with Alexander Usyk. You know why? Because Joshua looked better against Usyk than he did against Jermaine Franklin. Counterpunch. So there's a lot of factors that we're not looking at. Maybe Joshua wasn't really up for the fight. We heard that man talk about he wished he was in Wembley instead of the O2. He probably didn't even want to be in the fucking O2. He probably didn't even really want to fight Jermaine Franklin. They made that decision for him. Hey, fight Jermaine Franklin instead of Dillian White, and we'll see how that goes, because then we'll have a mutual opponent between you two lately, and then both of you guys can have wins, and maybe you guys could then duke it out after you beat that guy, give him a couple of paydays, and send his ass back to the USA. Those are the type of things that they probably discussed on taking the fight with Jermaine Franklin. Now, no, he did underachieve. It was a fight that it could have been a lot better. I wasn't impressed. But to say that, that just proves that Usyk's no monster. No, that's what it proves. If he's tentative, that means he's still reliving some shit from the last fight. Who did he last fought? Alexander Usyk, back to back. Mr. Windshield Wiper Head, side to side, ready to attack. Dip, dash, slip, combinations, repeat the process, that type of shit. So because you think about it, it makes more sense than, Usyk's not good, because Joshua, how did he react when Jermaine Franklin came at him? He tied him up. He tied him up because he didn't know really what was coming. Dealing with someone that you don't know the punch that's coming when it comes, that's a fighter that'll have you more tentative than anything. What do you think Floyd did to these fighters when he fought them? Floyd had these fighters reluctant to throw because they didn't know when they were going to get hit. Counterpunch, people. So with Frank, and I know what Frank's doing, though. It's all good. He's just making a better case that Daniel Dubois can beat Alexander Usyk, and he's making that because of a fighter that he beat, which is Anthony Joshua, that looked shitty in his last fight. But he is right, though. Frank is. We will see if this deal gets made, and it will get made rather quickly. I might add, and I predict it will get made quickly, and then we will see how good Daniel Dubois is, or how less of a monster Alexander Usyk is. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Frank Warren stating that because of Anthony Joshua's latest performance, it proves that Alexander Usyk is no monster. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!